The Selangor state government under the Pakatan Harapan coalition has obtained the consent of Sultan of Selangor to continue administrating the state and not dissolve the state assembly, notwithstanding the dissolution of the Dewan Rakyat on Monday. Selangor Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Shari said he had an audience with the Selangor ruler on Tuesday morning and pledged that the state government would focus on its preparations for potential floods in the state, the economic recovery and tabling the state's 2023 budget in the Selangor State Assembly later this year. The PH Presidential Council had earlier decided that states ruled by the coalition, namely Selangor, Penang and Negeri Sembilan, would not be dissolving their state assemblies in view of the upcoming monsoon season. Meanwhile, UMNO feels that it is possible for GE15 to be held before mid-November, according to its Secretary General Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan. However, he said the party will leave it to the discretion of the Election Commission to set the date. Former PM Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad came out to say that he expected convicted ex-PM Datuk Seri Najib Razak to be released from jail if UMNO wins GE15. Reuters quoted Mahathir as saying that UMNO would rush to get Najib released from prison through a royal pardon as well as drop dozens of corruption charges if it wins the election. Mahathir said criminal prosecution of UMNO President Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, currently facing 47 graft charges in another case, would also be dropped. Najib and Zahid have both pleaded not guilty, saying they are victims of a political vendetta. The benchmark FBM KLCI, which plunged to a more than 2-year low of 1,385.19 points, has likely found its bottom at current levels and is in an appealing position for a rebound, according to Rakuten Trade Head of Research Kenny Yee. Yee's optimism is fueled by an anticipation of improved trading activities for the next 2 quarters, riding on the upcoming GE15 and the attractive valuations of the FBM KLCI. Rakuten has overweight calls on 8 sectors, namely banking, gaming, oil and gas, plantation, REIT, technology, telco and utilities. VP of Equity Research Tong Pak Leng says continued overnight policy rate upcycle is expected and will provide a buffer for banks' net interest margins. He estimates that 2 additional OPR hikes of 25 basis points each to take place by the first quarter of 2023, bringing OPR to 3%. Tong also favours the gaming sector as it is seen as a major economy reopening play. However, he is mindful of the sustained high inflation that is eating into consumer spending power, potentially hurting visitors' arrivals and ticket sales of NFOs. He is also positive on the outlook of the O&G sector, as the sector should benefit from sustained firm oil prices and spurring capex, hence improving activities in the industry. Technology is also among Tong's top pick sectors, as he believes Malaysia will benefit from the US-China spat in the chip war. In contrast, the only underweight rating is given to the glove sector, as the sector's average selling price is expected to remain in the doldrums in the second half of 2022 due to massive capacity expansion by incumbent players as well as an influx of new players. 6 months after DIB Hicom inked memorandums of understanding with China's Zhejiang Holdings Group Co. and the Perak government in regard to the development of the automotive high-tech valley in Tanjung Malim, no definitive agreement has been produced. In a BOS filing, DIB Hicom said the 6-month validity period of its MOU with Geely was about to lapse, and it was in talks with the Chinese automotive group to extend the duration. Meanwhile, touching on its 2-year MOU with the Perak government, DIB Hicom said it was still in the midst of discussion to finalize a definitive collaboration agreement. DRB Hicom had previously said that the AHTV aimed to be the next generation vehicle hub in Tanjung Malim, covering an extensive automotive and mobility solutions value chain. West Coast Expressway, an 80% owned subsidiary of WCE Holdings, is seeking up to $400 million from the government to part finance the land acquisition costs for the $5.044 billion West Coast Expressway project. In a BOS filing, WCE said its subsidiary had on October 7th entered into a reimbursable land cost agreement with the Finance Ministry to part finance the acquisition costs. WCE said the company will provide a shareholders undertaking to WCE SP in respect of the RLC equity financing to ensure the successful completion of the project and, among others, a debenture incorporating fixed and floating charge all over present and future assets of WCE SB. WCE is building the 233-kilometre toll West Coast Expressway from Banting Selangor to Taiping Perak. IJM Corp has a 28.81% stake in WCE. The expressway is being built in a build, operate, transfer basis with a concession period of up to 60 years. Once completed, it will be the country's third longest highway after the 966-kilometre North-South Expressway and 330-kilometre East Coast Highway. Southern Cable Group is targeting 100 million sales of cables and wires to the US for FY23. In a statement, SCG says it will begin deliveries to a US-based cable and wire distributor in the fourth quarter of 2022. It said the positive demand outlook for FY23 is supported by an upcoming distribution agreement from its US-based customer following a recent successful performance of trial orders. Additionally, SCG said it recently secured UL certification for its heat and water resistant industrial cables, certifying conformity to the US industry requirements, enabling the group to increase its customer base stateside. SCG Managing Director Tung Eng Hai says gaining entry into a much larger foreign market than its current domestic reach boosts the potential addressable market. He says that SCG is in the process of planning its production capacity for anticipated larger orders to the US next year and adds that the group is confident of expanding its US customer base. Tung says SCG also has the capability to produce cables and wires for wide-ranging sectors including power distribution, construction, telecommunication and oil and gas. He says SCG has current orders in hand of more than 800 million to be fulfilled for Malaysia and overseas customers until 2024.